Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about what I think is the best self-defense gun for somebody that lives in an apartment, okay? Or even if it's a house that, it's made out of sheetrock and wood and you got a lot of other houses, like right next to you. My best choice is this Beretta CX4 rifle, okay? This is the 9mm version. They also make it in 40 caliber. I recommend the 9mm because the ammo's cheaper, you'll practice a lot more. And this is a very good, reliable gun. And I've shot this gun with, with steel case. I've shot probably somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 rounds through this rifle in, the last, I don't know, roughly 8 years. I think I've had it. I think 90% of that was probably steel case, toolless steel case. I've shot some Winchester steel case. I've shot lots of Federal aluminum. The Federal aluminum is very accurate. I like it a lot. As far as cheap ammunition, with the Federal aluminum, I can consistently hit a 12-inch plate at 110 yards with this rifle using the red dot. Okay, so it's definitely a 100-yard rifle if you got some good ammunition. When I say good ammunition, pretty much anything that's brass is gonna hit it. I was just testing it out before with this cellular and bellet. I was pretty much hitting a plate at 110 yards, 12-inch plate. Very consistently, pretty much one after the other. So it's a very accurate rifle. I mean, I wouldn't say it's, I might be able to push it past 110 yards. Maybe to 150, but I mean, at some point, 9mm is going to start, being inconsistent. Okay, so that's why I would say that this is a 100-yard rifle. One of the things that I did, there's a top rail over here with these screws that attach the Picatinny rail. You want to take those screws out, use some Loctite, and get those screws back in, because otherwise those screws that hold this rail in place will loosen up over time. So you want to Loctite the screws in that hold your red dot in place. It's got the iron sights that will co-witness to the red dot. I've got a Howson, solar powered red dot on this. This is the 403C. With a red dot, this is a great rifle. I definitely recommend having a rifle as opposed to just a pistol, because with a pistol, basically it's a two-handed firearm. You will definitely be more accurate with the rifle. You will be able to take more accurate shots that you can have more confidence in. More confidence that you will hit the target and not maybe the hostage that they're holding. Okay, this is an extremely accurate. This is extremely accurate at close range. All the way out to like I said, you can be accurate out to 100 yards. Although I would say this is a close range rifle. This is something that you can shoot indoors. Put the red dot on the target. You know that you're gonna hit the target. You just gotta know what your offsets are. So basically, if you're trying to hit here, you're gonna have to aim. Put your red dot a little bit higher. Okay. You definitely want to have a pistol as a backup. Okay, so I'm not saying have this and don't have a pistol. You definitely want that pistol as the backup, and you also want to have an AR-15, AK-47. There's no substitute for those. Okay, because here's the thing: even though you want to use this gun indoors, you might be in a situation where the fight moves outdoors. Okay, now if you're fighting across a hallway, yeah, fine, this will be sufficient. But you may have a situation where you need to leave. You might need to travel to, to go get food, supplies. You might need to leave the area completely. So once you get out of your apartment, once you get out of that situation, you want a real rifle. You want something that, you want the same thing that the military uses, okay? The militaries around the world use AR-15s and AK-47s for the most part because they are the best. They are tested under combat conditions. That's what you want to use. You want to use what the military is using. Don't shortchange yourself. There's a reason why they're using it. There's a reason why you should be using it. Although, like I said, in an apartment type of complex, apartment complex, or you may have the concern of over penetration. In which case, I think this Beretta CX4 is a great choice. Okay, like I said, it's extremely accurate, especially with that red dot on it. It's extremely reliable. Okay, like I said, I've shot this with steel case. You know, this rifle has actually had less jams than my Glock, and the Glock doesn't jam. Usually, if it jams, it's because of user error. If somebody's limp wristing it, that's kind of hard to do with this, because this is a rifle. People are basically going to naturally brace it against their shoulder, so you don't have that issue of limp wristing it. So this is definitely a better choice, let's say, for the wife. The wife, in the sense that if she's somebody that doesn't get to the range often, that's maybe not really interested in guns, maybe occasionally trains with you because you kind of drag her along. So it might be a little bit more difficult to get her proficient with a pistol, but you will, easily get her proficient with the, with a rifle like this. That's easy to shoot. The recoil on this is very light. Like I said, it's very reliable. I mean, even compared to a Glock, if you throw a Glock at a new shooter that doesn't know how to hold it, a lot of times they will jam it. Now, now obviously, I train people how to do it. However, a lot of times, even when I train people, just because I train them doesn't mean that in a stressful situation they will remember to do what I taught them to do, to grip the gun, hold it the way that I told them. Because and I've tested this. I've trained people, who are new to guns, right? I've trained them. I taught them how to hold it. They're shooting, they're shooting fine under, when they're calm and relaxed. And all of a sudden, what I'll do is I'll create some type of a pressure. I'll put a pressure on them. Either I'll use a timer, or whatever, but I'll find a way to put some pressure on them, and all of a sudden they're limp wristing the gun. They're doing all sorts of things to cause the gun to jam. Okay, so with a rifle like this, that you can basically naturally bring it in, brace it against your shoulder. You got a red dot that you're going to put on the target, so you don't have the stress of trying to line up your sights. This is a very good choice for people that don't get to train that often. Okay. Like I said, you still should have a backup pistol. You should still have a real rifle, because I consider this basically a glorified pistol. Okay, it's basically a 9mm pistol. They've added a stock. They made the barrel a little bit longer. So this is a pistol that's really easy to shoot, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so it's a very good gun, very reliable. But there's another feature that I really like about this gun. Let me demonstrate. Okay. First of all, let me say that it comes standard with 17 round magazines, and you can get factory 20 round magazines. They do make aftermarket, extended magazines. I've not been able to find reliable ones. The one thing that you gotta be careful of is you gotta make sure that when you get it in there, you get that click, because what happens is, some of the magazines are flat, some are a little bit fatter. And with this one, for example, it has to really get all the way in there. It doesn't stick out the bottom, so it's really easy to not to get a good seating. Okay, so you got to make sure that it goes in. That's the one thing that you got to be careful about with this gun. So let me fire off a couple of rounds. Nice and easy. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off my earmuffs. Okay, you guys have never seen me shoot without earmuffs or earplugs. Okay, and usually I don't use earplugs unless I'm shooting 22s. I use earmuffs because I'm always exposed to gunfire. I really don't want to take a chance with ear damage, because I travel around. I'm always at different gun ranges. I'm hearing, if I don't, even with 22s, I generally use earmuffs. That is not bad. Okay, now this is not something that I want to put the gun safe. This is not something that I want to do all the time. Okay, the gun is loud, but it's actually quieter than a 22 pistol. Okay, so this gun, in the 9mm rifle configuration, is quieter than a 22 pistol. The pistol actually is louder to me. Like, for example, I will typically shoot 22 rifles with just the earplugs. When I switch over to a 22 pistol, I put actual muffs on. Okay, so like I said, I'm pretty sensitive to loud sounds. and I'm very conscious. You know, I don't want to damage my ears. This rifle is pretty quiet. This is what a sound suppressor would sound like on most guns. So even though this does not have a suppressor on it, if you took something like an AR-15 or an AK, you put a suppressor on it, you know, it's still damn loud. It's probably louder than that, okay? Because I have shot ARs with suppressors, and I really could not shoot them without ear protection. Because an AR, you know, when I'm shooting a 5.56, where that bullet is just tearing the air, you know, it's going, you know, the bullet's just going so fast. I cannot shoot a suppressed AR-15 without earring protection. It hurts, okay? You know, for those of you watching this channel that you know, maybe aren't as familiar with guns, you know, it's not just that guns are loud, okay? Because that right there was pretty loud, but you know, when you fire a gun, it creates a pressure wave around you. So the way I explained it, it feels like somebody just took two hands and basically went bam to yours. Like, you know, I'm sure at some point when you were in school, somebody did this to you, where they came up to you and they just cupped their hands and went boof on the side of your ears, and it was like, and it hurts. That's what shooting a gun, you know, without hearing protection feels like. It's not that it's just loud. The pressure just pushes in, you know, pushes your eardrum, you know, into your head, and you pretty much get like an instant headache. Okay. And it almost has like a numbing effect. If you hear a lot, you know, if you become exposed to gunfire, like repeated gunfire, that you're not expecting, and you don't have ear protection on it, you know, when you're real close, it almost has a numbing effect. And that numbing effect is basically your eardrums getting beat into your head, you know, getting beat up against the side of your brain, basically. But this gun, this Beretta CX4, without ear protection, although I'm, you know, like I said, I'm just doing this now for demonstration purposes, safety off. This is, you know, this is very manageable. Now, keep in mind that if you fire this gun inside a room, right, inside a building, the sound is basically going to amplify back on you. So it is going to be a lot louder than it is right now. Okay, but still, that's a lot better than almost any other gun that you could be shooting indoors. So I definitely recommend this gun as a, you know, as an indoor gun, and, you know, in an apartment type of situation. The gun's reliable, shoots all sorts of ammunition. You can mount a red dot on it. You know, it's got a rail here. You can mount a flashlight. You know, I have a flashlight that basically attaches here. It kind of hangs off the side. It's offset, that I put on this. So this is definitely something I would recommend. The one, like, there's two things I really don't like about it, kind of. Well, actually, you know, probably three things. One, I mean, like I said, some of the magazines, they don't stick out far enough, so you have to, because if I just go flat, it's not going to go in. See, because you really got to get it in there. I do have other magazines, though, that extend a little bit past it, and it will seat a lot, you know, more securely, and I'll know that it seats. So that's one of the things to be aware of. Make sure your magazine seats. The other thing that I'm not too crazy about is I think the gun's expensive. Okay, I paid $900 for this. Now, I did buy this while, you know, Obama was, you know, trying to ban, you know, anything that shoots bullets. So I did kind of buy this at the worst possible time, you know, about 8 years ago when I bought this. So it's you know, so I paid more. Now I looked. I think it was Sportsman Outdoor is selling this right now for $700. Okay, in 2019, end of 2019, they're selling it for $700. You know, which I think is still kind of expensive for a 9mm rifle when you consider you can buy an AR-15, a good AR-15, a Ruger or a Smith for about $500. So I think that you are paying a lot of money for this gun, but I don't think that there are other, you know, I think it's kind of like the best choice out there. I know they make like 9mm rifles, I'm sorry, 9mm AR-15 rifles. I've not shot that many, so I can't say whether they're better or not. I don't think that they're cheaper than this. I think they're all pretty much, you know, they're all kind of expensive. So I can't speak for you know, AR-15 rifles, you know, chambered from 9mm, but I can just tell you that this gun works really good. The other thing that I kind of don't like about this gun is that it's kind of, I don't like the sling options. You know, basically there's a place here where you can hang a sling. Basically they give you a point over here, a point over here, but that's kind of awkward if you want to hang this on a 2-point where it's like kind of hanging like this. You know, what you really need is you need a spot over here to put the sling, and it would have been nice. Basically, it would have been nice to have a QD point here and a QD point here. Now they give you there's aftermarket, or actually not even aftermarket, they do sell options where you can basically mount the Picatinny rail here on the side, and they charge an arm and a leg for it. I mean, I think they charge something like $75 for just a rail that you would put here to mount the sling if you wanted to. You don't want to mount because you could get some type of you could mount it off the top rail, but I try not to abuse the top rail too much, because the red dot is sitting on that rail, and it's not like an AR-15 top rail where it's like part of the receiver. This is actually screwed onto the frame, so this is not a point that I want to stress a lot. So I wouldn't mount the sling over here. So like I said, that's my only complaint. They really don't give you too many choices as far as mounting a sling where you would want to mount a sling. Basically you want a point here and a point over here. I'd have to get some additional additional Picatinny rail to put here, and this is kind of odd. This is not like a QD mount. That basically takes a loop sling. So it's not standardized. It's not, I can't just go grab a sling off of one of my other rifles, one of my ARs, and just attach it to here. So like that's my that's probably my biggest complaint about this rifle. So there are my thoughts on this. This is the Beretta CX4 Storm, and I'm definitely recommending it. As a home defense gun for inside an apartment type of complex, or in a situation where you have a lot of houses like really close to each other. I think that this gun will serve you very well. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it. If you're not a member of my channel, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.